Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be going through MPC case study and this will help you to understand the ETS process. So would you rather buy near the bottom or capture the biggest part of a long-term trend? Today I want to show you a real example using Marathon Petroleum or MPC. This isn't about finding the perfect entry or the perfect exit. It's about following a disciplined, evidence-based process that removes emotion from investing. We'll look how the current uptrend was identified, how the evidence trend system recognized the new trend, and how it manages trends over time. And then we'll zoom out to see every trend the system has identified over the past few years. So let's have a look at the current trend. So I'll zoom in just to that. So this is the current trend. As of today, it's gained more than 80% since it began. The important part isn't the percentage gain. The important part is how the system recognized the trend in the first place. So let's walk through the process. So I'll just zoom back out. Okay, so step one, golden cross. The first requirement is a golden cross. That's when the 12-month moving average crosses above the 36-month moving average, or if it's a weekly trend, it would be a 12-week crosses the 36-week. This tells us long-term momentum has shifted in favor of buyers. By itself, though, that's not enough. Step two is price confirmation. Price must close above both moving averages. Rather than predicting where the market might go, we simply wait for the market to provide evidence that a new trend is underway. Then step three, the new trend is confirmed. So once all those conditions align, the system identifies a new uptrend. Notice something important. This isn't the lowest price. We don't try and identify market bottoms. We deliberately wait until the evidence confirms the new trend. That means we may miss the first part of a move. We're comfortable with that because our objective isn't perfection. It's participating in long-term trends. So step four is to follow the trend. And you'll see that with the green arrow there from the start of step one. Once that new trend has confirmed, we simply continue following it. There'll always be headlines, there'll always be pullbacks, there will always be reasons people think the trend is over, but the evidence hasn't changed. Neither do we. The system doesn't ask how much has this gone up, it asks has the trend changed. Step five, the trend ends. Eventually, every trend comes to an end. The evidence trend system identifies a trend ending when price closes below the 12-month moving average, or if it's a weekly trend, 12-week moving average. Notice something, the trend doesn't end at the exact top. That's intentional. No trend following approach consistently identifies the highest point. Instead, we accept giving back part of a move in exchange for participating in a much larger long-term trend. And then there can be a re-entry. Sometimes the trend pauses before continuing higher. If price regains strength above the 12-month moving average, while the longer term trend remains intact, the system identifies a new trend again. This helps us participate in a long-term trend, resuming after a period of weakness. And again, if it's a weekly trend, if price closes again above the 12-week moving average. So let's zoom out a bit more, and this is where the story becomes more interesting. So since mid-2021, the system has identified several long-term monthly trends in MPC. Let's walk through them. Trend one, a new trend begins. Here, it continued for approximately 70% before the trend ended. Then trend 2, approximately 39% was that trend. Trend 3, a much smaller trend, that was just 2%. Not every trend becomes a major winner. That's perfectly normal. Some trends can even take a small loss. The objective isn't to predict where the trend will be the biggest, it's to consistently follow every valid trend. And then the current trend, which is still active, currently up more than 80%. Whether the trend eventually reaches 100%, 120, or ends tomorrow, goes down at 6 to 60% was the, maybe that's what the trend ends on, we don't know. And we don't need to know. This system simply continues following the evidence. So I think the biggest lesson from this chart isn't the percentage gains, is that every trend began exactly the same way. No one knew in advance which one would become the strongest. Each new trend was treated exactly the same. Some become average trends, some become exceptional trends. That's why discipline matters. The process stays the same regardless of what happens next. If you enjoyed this real-world case study, let me know in the comments which stock or ETF you'd like me to analyze next using the ETS process. And if you'd like to receive notifications whenever the evidence trend system identifies a new uptrend or when an existing trend comes to an end, you can subscribe using the link below. Until next time, follow the evidence, not the emotion.